Brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Bible Show Truth Hour here on POET Radio. I'm your host, Black Ice.
I am Brother Julius.
And this is part 2 of Biblical Black History as told by the prophets, brothers and sisters. Biblical Black History as told by the prophets. We're going to go ahead and right into our lesson. We're going to leave off at the end of part 1 as we go into part 2. Where you want to start off at, Brother Julius?
Well, Black Ice, I'm going to give a real quick recap of what we covered last week. Okay. Last week was part Black History told by the prophets of the Bible, part 1, color. We're going to go into the end of the color segment and go right into the slavery, which is part 2 segment. Sisters and brothers, our lesson started in Genesis, the 10th chapter last week. We showed you that the true Israelites of the Bible were a people of color. The whole of Earth's population are the descendants of Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Mm-hmm. Japheth became the father of the Gentiles, or what you call Europeans and their descendants, or what we modernly call Caucasian or white people. Their land is Europe. Then we showed you, we continue about Noah's son Ham. The Hamitic line of people, commonly known as Africans and their descendants, cover your Egyptians, your Ethiopians, your Libyans, and your Canaanites. And the land of Canaan became known as the land of Israel. Again, the Hamitic children of Noah's son were your African peoples, not the Negroes. I repeat that, not the Negroes. We went on and showed you in Genesis, the 37th chapter, that Israel's son Joseph was sold into Egypt by his brothers, and through the power of God became second in command under Pharaoh, being raised by Pharaoh's daughter, brought into Pharaoh's house. Mm-hmm. That means that in order to be in part of somebody's house, you have to be their color. Because the word Egypt, whose real name is Mizraim, means black. So therefore, it was easy for Joseph to be passed for an Egyptian. His own brothers did not recognize him. In Genesis, the 45th chapter, we showed you that his own brothers didn't recognize him until he reveals himself to them. That's because right. He looked like an Egyptian. He talked like an Egyptian, although he understood Hebrew. So therefore, he passed for an Egyptian. Jacob buries his in the 50th chapter of Genesis. Joseph buries his father Jacob to keep a promise. And during the journey into the Holy Land, the Midianites see them, and they say, "Is this not a great mourning of the Egyptians?"
That's right.
But it was Israelites, being Joseph and his family and his brothers, among the Egyptians. But all they said was, "Is this not a great mourning of the Egyptians?"
So you mean to tell me that they thought that this Israelite family,
yes,
who were actually mixed in with the Egyptians,
right?
They thought that they were all the same people.
All right.
There was no distinction between the two that they could tell.
Just like there's no distinction between us, the people that's called African Americans or Black Americans, and our present president of the United States, who is of Hamitic lineage. In Exodus, the 1st chapter, we showed you that Israel multiplies in the land of Egypt and becomes a nation down there. In Exodus, the 2nd chapter, Moses, the Israelite of the tribe of Levi, one of Jacob's sons, who the Lord called his name, changed the name to Israel. Moses is born and raised up in Pharaoh's house. Moses, is in the 2nd chapter, verses 16 through 19 of Exodus, is mistaken as an Egyptian by the priest of Midian, Ruel's daughters. They asked him, "Why you come home so early?" He said they told him, "The shepherds drove us off, and an Egyptian delivered us out of their hand."
And brothers and sisters, for those who are tuned in and didn't catch last week's show, the reason why we're going so fast on this part is because we've done this lesson already. And so you can go back on YouTube and watch part 1 of this lesson. But we're just trying to bring you up to speed on what we're going to pick up at part 2. Go ahead, brother.
Exactly. Thank you, Black Guy. So now we saw that Joseph is compared to the Egyptian and mistaken for an Egyptian.
So that's Joseph.
Then we showed you that Moses, who is also black, was mistaken for an Egyptian.
So he looked so much like an Egyptian that he passed for the grandson of the Pharaoh and the son of the daughter of the Pharaoh.
Absolutely. Now, let's end this segment on color, Black Ice. Let's start this segment in Matthew, the 2nd chapter.
Here we go, brothers
Matthew,
and sisters.
the 2nd chapter. We're going to show you the most famous person in the creation and whom the creation was made by, what was he instructed to do. His parents. Let's go to Matthew chapter 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1, Black Ice.
Matthew 2:1.
Go ahead, my brother.
And it reads, Now when
who?
Jesus.
You mean our Lord and Savior?
Absolutely.
What tribe did he come out of, Ice?
Let's finish reading.
Go ahead.
Was born in Bethlehem of Judea.
Oh, so he was of the tribe of Judah.
There you go.
Go ahead.
In the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
No, you read that whole first verse wrong. Learn something on the way to learn something. Start over, Ice.
Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king.
No. On December 25th.
There's no mention of a date of birth right here. It just says in the days of Herod the king.
And what happened?
There came wise men.
Oh, no. 3 wise men.
It doesn't say how many. It just says there came wise men.
It could have been 2.
Or it could have been 2,000.
Or it could have been 200. Or it could have been 3. Or it could have been 5. The book don't number. It just say wise men, showing that he's more than one.
There came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him.
Now, Jesus is already born, and at this time, sisters and brothers, he's already entering into his 2nd birthday. Another lesson, another time. He is at least 2 years old, and we're going to show you that real quick. Come on, Black Ice, read.
When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled.
Why?
And all Jerusalem with him.
Because Herod was king of the Jews. And now the prophets was prophesied there will be a king born unto you. We read that in Luke, the 1st chapter. On your own, read it. Unto us a son is born, King of the Jews, even Jesus. Come on, Black Ice.
And they said unto him in Bethlehem of Judea, For thus it is written by the prophet.
What prophet? Micah chapter 5. On your own, read it. On your own, Micah chapter 5, verse 7. It will tell you. Go ahead.
And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
Come on, Ice, continue.
Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared.
Why is Herod calling the wise men, Ice? The same reason why people come to us, because we are the priest of God. We are the answer people, and we do not shy from that. We do not back down from that. It is what it is. No matter how ugly we look in the world, we are still the chosen priest of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Come on, Ice.
Verse 8.
Yes.
And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child.
No, for the newborn baby.
He didn't say that. He said for the young child.
Continue.
And when ye have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also.
But you mean he want the people, y'all need to look into Herod. Herod did not want to worship nobody. Herod did not want to be unseated from his throne. He wanted to kill Jesus. He wanted to kill Jesus. Skip down to verse 11 and continue, Black Ice.
And when they were come into the house...
Wait a minute.
There's no mention of a manger right here, Brother Julian.
And when they were coming to what?
When they were coming to the house...
What happened, Ice?
They saw the young child with Mary his mother and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh.
And this is why they said it was only 3 wise men, because they supposedly bought him 3 types of gifts. But it could have been 200 men that bought him the same gifts. How you going to come up before a king with nothing, with bearing no present, Ice? Continue at verse 12.
And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way.
So the wise men knew that they had gave Herod the information, but Herod understood that he had been duped by the wise men. So therefore, they didn't go back to Herod, because Herod would have killed them. Continue at verse 13. Let me show you why they had to flee. Come on, Ice.
Matthew 2 and 13.
Yes.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream.
Who, Ice?
The angel of the Lord.
Just one angel that stands in the presence of God. Come on.
Saying, arise and take the young child.
The baby.
Young child. And his mother. And flee into Egypt.
I tell the people, why would they take a white baby into a black nation?
They can't do it, brothers and sisters. Again, he has to go somewhere where he can blend in the mother, the supposed father, and the child. You cannot take a white family and hide them in a black neighborhood.
It won't work.
It's not going to work. So the mother, the supposed father, and the child have to look like the people of the nation in which they are going to flee to.
Just like they call us African Americans, black guys, but we are Israelite Americans. Therefore, they got us off of the continent of Ham, or the land of Ham, out of the African nation. Black from black.
For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
Also, Herod didn't want to worship Jesus. He wanted to kill him. Because he said we can't be no two kings of the Jews. Go ahead, Ice.
When he arose, talking about Joseph, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt.
For how long, Ice?
And was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt have I called my son.
Out of Egypt. The Bible tells you that in the Psalm that Israel dwelt in the land. In Psalm 78, Israel dwelt in the land of Ham, and Psalm 105.
So it seems like here we have a whole bunch of Israelites.
Yes.
That have gone into Egypt.
Yes.
And done great things and come out of Egypt. We had Joseph that we read about.
Yes.
We had Moses that we read about.
Yes.
And here it is again. We have Jesus that we read about. And all three of them, Israelites, were as black as the people of the Egyptians.
Continue to read at verse 16. Look what happened here, Ice.
Matthew 2 and 16.
Come
and
on.
It reads, Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceedingly angry and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem.
From what?
And in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under.
Oh, so when the shepherds found Jesus, he was in a manger, in a barn, and he was a baby.
According to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. So, brothers and sisters, from the time that he had spoken to the wise men to the time that he had sent people to slaughter these children, 2 years had passed. That's why we know, brothers and sisters, that Jesus was not a baby at this time when the wise men found him, that he was already a young child. This is part one.
And in a house.
This is part one, brothers and sisters, of biblical black history as told by the prophets. Part two. Stay tuned for part two, brothers and sisters, of part two.
Wow.
Stay tuned.